Alright, peace and greetings, YouTubers. So Robert Griffin III, aka RG3. This is why I say not everybody is invited to the cookout, which is still on pause indefinitely. But I say that because even when it comes to your own collective, you gotta vet who's gonna be there. Because people like RG3 are the type to call the health inspector on the cookout because his wife wasn't invited. When it comes to somebody like RG3, the biggest beef that I have is he is somebody that constantly loves to present himself as being upstanding, but specifically upstanding to only one demographic of people at the expense of another. In addition to that, with all that grandstanding, every time I hear of this person, his name is always down in the gutter tied to some nonsense. And so at this point, what I've seen based on patterns is, boom, he has an obsession with Angel Reese. He has an obsession with seeking white validation at the expense of his own collective. And he has an obsession with getting on everybody's nerves. So to put things into context, Angel Reese is going to be on the WNBA edition of 2K26 mainly because she's been having an amazing season. She is killing the game when it comes to stats and accolades. As of yesterday, which would have been July 11th, she just had her 8th double-double when it comes to her stats in the games. And so, of course, she's going to be on the cover. She's a star. She brings in the audience. She has that star quality. But at the same time, we do know that when it comes to a lot of black women in sports and entertainment, there's always that sad element of racism where people like to jump out and ruin a good thing. And so apparently somewhere deep down in the trenches of the internet, there was a random account which, as of yesterday, had 59 followers. Again, 59 followers. And this account decided to Photoshop the image of the cover of the game where they put a monkey on the front, and that's supposed to be Angel Reese. Now, we know when it comes to racism, folks love to correlate black folks with apes and monkeys, which I have never for the life of me understood because, in all reality, monkeys and apes have very, very thin hair and thin lips. That's not normally my demographic, but I do know who fits the description, so I don't know why that demographic keeps trying it if we want to go there. But I say all that to say, Robert Griffin somehow saw this post, which makes me question exactly what kind of people does he follow, which I'll get to that in a second. But he sees this post, and he decides that he's going to respond. Now, in an ideal world, when somebody wants to make a statement about something that is wrong, they normally make their statement and go about their day. But he decided, why don't I take the image, an image that I saw from an account that had 59 followers as of today, and I'm sure it probably had less before all of this stuff took place. Why don't I take an account that has 59 followers, I'll take the image that they posted, and I'm going to share it to my 2.2 million followers and talk about why it's bad. So then he releases this long statement. So I'm going to read the statement, and then we're going to talk. Alright, this has got to stop. There is no place for racism in this world. Whether you like a player or not, Angel Reese should never be called or depicted as a monkey. I have been quiet on the Angel Reese front because she shared a video that aided in my wife, kids, family, and friends receiving death threats. Threats of physical harm to my family and friends, and threats of sexual violence to my children on social media and beyond. That will never be okay with me. I never attacked her or her family when I stated and backed up with clear basketball evidence that Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark. It's sports. Everybody won't like each other. People in Angel's inner circle called me and told me I was right. And Angel Reese has grown to hate Caitlin Clark because of the media always asking her about Caitlin and being constantly compared to her. Some people made it about race, but I never did and never will. Instead of becoming the villain in anyone's story, I decided to just not. All that being said, Angel Reese or any black man or woman should never be called or depicted as a monkey, ever. Stop it. If you hate Angel Reese because she is black, you are the problem. If you hate Angel Reese because you are a Caitlin Clark fan, don't turn it racial. There should be no space for racism in this world. See, this is why he's always getting dragged, because he knows exactly what he's doing. But he loves to play naive. He loves to play in everybody's faces. He loves to strike the match and then run when the explosion hits and then pretend that that wasn't supposed to happen. Oh no, I meant for only goodwill to come out of this. I didn't mean for that to happen. I was trying to teach the world a lesson. I was trying to bring us all together. So he loves to do that kind of shenanigans and then play dumb. So yes, let me repost this racially offensive image that I somehow found on an account that I don't follow that only had 59 followers. I'm going to post that to my 2.2 million, and then that's going to spread all around the world across different social media platforms to the point where it's now a trending topic for 2 and 3 days. But don't worry, guys. I'm going to write a tidbit about why this image is bad, and as I'm writing this tidbit, I'm going to also include additional fluff that is not relevant to the image and somehow let that serve as dog whistles and smoke signals for everybody to go and attack the very person that I'm claiming to protect. That's the nonsense that I'm talking about. He knows exactly what he's doing and he's full of it. And the reason I'm harping so much on this conversation around his audience is because you have to ask yourself, Who is collateral to the very validation that somebody like an RG3 seeks? And most of the time, it's us, because he's seeking validation from white America because he feels that that's how he's going to get his come up. When we're talking about the idea of success, there are a lot of black folks who are happy to be in the room. They are so happy to be in the room that they're willing to erase themselves. They're willing to go in there and say, how high do you want me to jump? What do you want me to say? Who do you need me to throw under the bus? How much of my integrity do I need to throw away to keep everybody in the room satisfied and comfortable? How much of myself do you want me to water down? What conversation do you want me to go and dilute? If there's some kind of movement that's taking place, how much of it do you want me to infiltrate and get in the way so that it doesn't mess up the status quo? I'm willing to do that because it means that you guys are going to keep taking care of me and I'm going to be good. That's RG3. On the flip side, you have some people who are like, listen, they get their success, they're never going to compromise who they are. They're going to still stand 10 toes down for the things that they stand for. And for people who don't really deal with them, it is what it is, so be it. And even if that means that their success may be capped or plateaued or there may be a limitation, they go to bed every night knowing that they stood for something and that they didn't sell their own collective or themselves or their integrity or the community out. And so this goes back to the conversation around RG3's audience. There is a segment of his audience that does not deal with black folks, that do not like us. They like RG3 because they can tolerate him, because again, he's happy to be in the room. He's willing to throw himself under the bus or throw us under the bus in order to keep that demographic happy. And so they love that aspect of RG3. But the minute RG3 ever has some real conversation, really stands behind something, they're going to jump ship. I say all that to say, there's a segment of that audience and also white America who feels that they have 100% ownership in black success. And because of that, they hate the idea of black agency being utilized. Somebody like Angel Reese utilizes her own agency. What do I mean by that? When we talk about the idea of owning black success, that same demographic feels that with that conversation of ownership, that also means control. We get to tell you how you're going to move. We get to tell you what you're going to do. You have to make all of your movements and everything that you do appease us and keep us comfortable. And when you step outside of line, that's going to be a problem. Angel Reese is not that. Angel Reese utilizes her agency. She's not going to compromise her integrity for no nonsense. She's not going to play the political game of the WNBA. She's just going to play basketball. And so because of that, and then when you throw somebody like Caitlin Clark in the conversation, because it's very interesting that RG3's main argument also was, oh, she also hates Caitlin Clark. That's a smoke signal, because everybody knows for a segment of white America, there's a portion of white America that became diehard Caitlin Clark fans because they hated Angel Reese. Not because Caitlin Clark was talented or really great at the game, but because, again, they hated Angel Reese. They needed somebody to be mad at. Caitlin Clark is that great hope for them, and it justifies the racism that they have towards Angel Reese. And so again, Angel Reese utilizes her agency. She's not going to be a punk. They can't control her. They can't control how she feels. They can't control her nonverbal cues. They can't control when she rolls her eyes. They can't control when she dominates on the court. It's pissing them off right now that she just had her 8th double-double when it comes to her accolades and the stats. It's pissing them off that she's on the cover of a 2K26. RG3 knows that he has a segment of his audience that feels that way, but he's never going to really shake the table because he doesn't want to lose that element of his livelihood. Why? Because let's dig a little bit deeper. RG3 was never able to become the NFL player he wanted to be because of injuries. Because they rushed him back out there after that first injury, he never quite recovered. So he's never been able to really see the potential of what it is that he could have been as an athlete, which means he now needs to seek validation somewhere else because it's never coming again from football. So what do? Well, he decided he's going to be a grifter. He recognized that, hey, if you can keep white America happy, it's going to keep money in your pockets. And so he's decided to erase all of himself. He's decided to never really talk about race from an ideal and a realistic standpoint. And this gives a pass to all of the nonsense that takes place. And so anytime that he's addressing or coming after the conversation of racism, it's always something super performative. And it still comes at the expense of his very own collective. RG3 moves as if he's afraid of his own blackness, when in reality, because of the way that he's moved over the last few years, he's pivoted himself into a position where if there was a moment where he really wanted to have an in-depth conversation about race because he saw something that was just so out there, he can never shake the table the way he wants to. He's going to always have to walk on eggshells because he's put himself in a space where it's a conversation of his livelihood versus integrity, and he's on a seesaw, a position most people wouldn't want to be in. And so he knows that if he ever does too much, he can lose everything. And that's what happens when you lock in to some nonsense and you make your foundation on sand. So that's his reality. Good luck to that. Even in that long post that he made that had nothing to do with this image because he really just wanted to utilize that as an opportunity to attack Angel Reese some more, that whole piece about if you hate Angel Reese because she hates Caitlin Clark, don't make it racial. I said, yeah, you really told them. It's interesting that when he talks about race, the people who get the most smoke and get the most aggression are us. But the people actually doing the racist thing get a pat on or a slap, not even a slap. They just get a talking to. Don't make it racial. Don't make it racial, guys. And so that's the reality. But getting to this whole Caitlin Clark thing, because he brings her up like parsley and the icing on the cake every single time. And really it's a smoke signal, it's a dog whistle. But my thing is, if Angel Reese hated Caitlin Clark, it's her right to do so. Who cares? There are no rules in sports saying that these athletes have to like each other. That's never been a rule. We never put this much pressure on Jordan and Isaiah Thomas to get along in the NBA. That was never a thing. When Isaiah Thomas didn't make the dream team, there was no, hey, you guys gotta go have lunch together and talk about it. That's never been a thing. So this whole idea of RG3 constantly bringing up what he thinks Angel Reese thinks about Caitlin Clark is getting very tired. Even the idea of, even people in Angel Reese's circle called me and told me that she hates Caitlin Clark. If she did, so what? What's supposed to happen? You guys sound crazy. And so that's the nonsense that I'm talking about. And this goes back to what I said with that conversation of control. He knows who his audience is. And because, again, Angel Reese utilizes her own agency, she ain't no punk, nobody can really walk all over her. He thinks that by constantly bringing in the smoke signal about Caitlin Clark and, Caitlin Clark is the victim, she needs help, that his audience will go and do whatever or tweet and harass or make all of the nonsense that goes towards Angel Reese become justified. And that's the nonsense that I'm talking about. Like, you continue to just entertain foolishness, and then you paint yourself to be a victim when people call you out on that. That's not fair to Angel Reese, and it's also not fair to Caitlin Clark, right? The two of them can exist in their own entity, play their game, play their sport, and do their thing, but you are the one who drives the narrative that they don't like each other or that they have this and they have that. And if they do, so be it. There's a huge segment of Caitlin Clark fans who are only Caitlin Clark fans because they hate Angel Reese. Angel Reese has the right to put her guard up if she wants to, as a way to protect herself internally, spiritually, and physically, because folks are crazy out here. And so RG3, sir, spirited too much. It's some nonsense. It's just, I don't know what your end goal is here, but you need to find something new to do. You need a new bailiwick, because it's getting old, it's getting tired. We're not going to keep coming to this same conversation every month. Like, you look foolish. Again, the idea of compromising your integrity for validation from people who really don't like you anyway, they just tolerate you, that should tell you something. Like, couldn't be me. Anyway, I'm out. Share your 2 cents, subscribe.